Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Lauk, and today I'm going to be talking about top 12 mistakes that beginner pianists usually make and how to fix them, the most important part. So the first one has to do with beginner's posture. What usually happens, beginner pianist is sitting too close, like this, this. So first of all, look at that. It doesn't look that good, right? It looks like your little Tyrannosaurus Rex, very short hands. So also it creates problem with intonation, with how you make your sound. So how to fix that? Just move away from the piano. So your elbow needs to be in front of the body, not right here, right? So this is the default position because that's how we usually sit, right, with our arms down. So make sure to extend your arms so your elbow comes in front of your body. How can you check? So if you extend your arms and your knuckles are touching the full board, that's actually probably long enough. It can vary, but try not to sit too close, okay? Try not to make your way this. It's a little bit ridiculous, okay? Second of all, second mistake usually is students sitting too low, right? So in this case, their elbow is coming right here, right? Lower than the piano level. How can you fix this? You can take any kind of, I don't know, the music, right? And just put it right here and make sure your elbow is hanging freely, right? You're not raising your shoulders, you're not doing anything like this. It's just in a neutral position. And if the music score just passing underneath your elbow free, that means you're sitting just fine. So sometimes it's hard to, you don't have an adjustable bench, right? So, and you're sitting low. I spent my childhood sitting on the stack of books, like the big scores, big music score like Beethoven. Maybe I absorbed music from sitting this way. Just kidding, that didn't happen. But anyway, so you can find ways to extend your seat so you sit higher, even if you don't have an adjustable bench like this one. So the third one would be legs under the bench. That is my favorite, when people put the legs under the bench and sitting kind of in this way. Right? So make sure to put your legs actually and your feet. It's better if you placing them actually lightly, not pressing, but just placing them lightly on the pedals. The left foot on the left pedal, the right foot on the right pedal. So that's your default position. And make sure not to make the mistake number 4, which is slouching, sitting in this way. So make sure to align your spine. So you're supposed to feel 2 bones in your gluteus maximus. And your spine's supposed to be aligned on those 2 bones. So basically, you're supposed to feel those 2 bones, and you're supposed to be able to shift to the left and to the right without actually losing the balance. Even though your feet might be not flat on the floor, if they placed on the pedals, that means you're balancing actually on those 2 bones that you can feel in your gluteus maximus. Okay, so the 5th one, it would be being afraid of the black keys, right? So since we're starting learning the white keys first, so sometimes people just being afraid of touching the black keys, and they playing on the edge of the white keys, and whenever they need to play the black key, they have to move very drastically, and that takes time, and that just awkward. So make sure to place your hand closer to the full board, okay? So sometimes people have problems with like thicker fingers if you are an adult beginner and you have really big and masculine hands. So in this case, just make sure that you can shift back and forth very effectively. Don't be stuck in one position, just like on the edge of the key. And the exercise for that would be a B major scale, which is the most comfortable, according to Chopin, the most comfortable scale. So that would be your first finger. Remember, your first finger would be laying on this side, right? Like this. So place it on B. And how can you find B? You find 3 black keys. 1, 2, 3, group of 3 black keys, and you go to the next right white key, that's your B. So first finger on B, and place it very much closer to the foldboard than you would usually do. You would usually play like this, right? But just move it towards the foldboard, then your second finger just very naturally is going to land on the black key, on the C sharp, on this one, on the first of two black keys in the middle of the piano, right? The group of two black keys, and the left one is C sharp, okay? And then your third finger would lay very, very naturally on D sharp, on the next black key. So on play those three keys, one after another. Just practicing, feeling very natural playing the black keys, okay? Okay, the third one would be dead wrist, trying to play with your fingers only. That is a huge mistake because first of all, it's very inefficient and it's very hard to do because our fingers are not that, I mean, they're pretty strong, but it's much easier to play with a wrist, so-called breathing wrist, okay? So what is the purpose of this? So remember, after you make the sound, after you play the key, what happened inside of the piano? The hammer hit the string once you press the key. And after that happened, after the sound happened, you cannot do anything to change the sound, right? So it doesn't make sense to keep pressing actually. What do you have to do to efficiently move from one note to another and do it as quickly, as efficiently, as flexible, and as easy as possible is to, once you play in your wrist going down and then up, that helps you to remove the weight, right? So you don't press down, you don't cling to a key, right? So breathe with it. So practice this way. Choose any finger. I would start with the first finger again, playing with this side of this finger, not this, just right here on the side, right? And remove your weight. Down and up, down and up. Just feel that you're not clinging to a key. You actually just, once you made a sound, remove the weight. That, so like you, almost like, let's say if you open in a can, you open in a bottle, right, with a bottle opener. And that's how you remove the weight from the key. So that's helping you, okay? Same with every finger, okay? Make sure your wrist is breathing. Down and up, down and up, down and up. That will help you to remove the weight. Okay, the seventh one would be dead elbow. That's just continuation of dead wrist. So if you just cling your elbow and you're not moving it and you're trying to play it like this is extremely, it's very hard to play like this. It's almost like you would try to run with your legs tied together. So make sure your elbow is breathing as well, okay? So first of all, it's going to help you to reach across the keyboard. So the exercise for that would be, we call it rainbow. So if you find, let's say, the note that we call C, how do you do that? Find two black notes and go to the left. To the left from two black notes, that's going to be C. And every time it's going to be C. So if you start from the very low C, right there, so find two blacks, go to the left, that's your C. And then make sure, first of all, your wrist is going up, and then your elbow kind of follows like this. Yeah. So actually, it actually starts with your elbow. Yeah, because it's a larger part of your arm. And remember, the arms, they're so heavy. You actually need kind of a counterweight right here on your shoulder blades. If you roll your shoulder blades back like this, like you have, imagine that you're having a beautiful giant white angel wings that offset the weight of your arms, and this way your arms can be actually kind of suspended in the air instead of being like a dead weight, because they're kind of quite heavy. Okay, so again, the continuation would be mistake number 8, which is clinging to a keys. Remember what I told you? Once the hammer hit the string, that doesn't make sense to keep pressing it, keep your weight on the key. and hold on to it. It doesn't make sense. So make sure to remove it, okay? By moving your elbow out and up. And the wrist follows like this, okay? So again, the good exercise would be the same rainbow, not clinging to a key. Just feel that your hand becomes empty once you make the sound. Okay, the next three, actually probably four mistakes, will have to do with the public performance. When you finally learn your piece, you're very proud and you want to play for people, and you get to do it either in church or, let's say, for your relatives, or sometimes even in an institution like university, going up stage and you bowing like this. I see it the most often with a hand like this over the stomach. I don't know where does it come from. Actually, I do know, because it's actually coming from the male performance having the tie like hanging down, and when you bow and without holding that kind of weird, because your tie is just like freely hanging there in the air. So that's why people just press in there. But it looks so weird to me. To me, that says, wow, my stomach hurts when people bow this way. So I would recommend, so either put your hands together in front of you and bow this way, or you can hold on to the piano, to the side of the piano with your left hand and bow this way. So I would recommend just practicing videotaping yourself and making sure you are comfortable with your bowing, because that's the part of the performance that actually everyone forget to practice. So make sure to practice those. So approach the piano. So while you're walking, usually look at your audience, smile. If you're a smiley type of person, if you're a very serious type of person, and if you do not smile, just go, then just approach the piano, turn toward the audience, bow. Okay, you can either, I prefer to put my hand on the piano. With my height, it's this part of the piano. With, let's say, if you are a young performer, if you are a little student, you can put your hand right here. So that would be better. Or you can just bow without touching the piano. So you bow, and then don't forget, don't make mistake number 10, when people, after bowing, going in, starting performing like this, they go into the piano, they place in their hands, and then they place in their gluteus maximus. So instead of that, make sure you sit first. So place your body first. Don't place your hands first. I know you know your first note, but make sure not to do this. This looks weird and awkward. So approach the piano, bow, and then sit, okay, and make sure you're comfortable. And then don't forget to adjust your bench, if that's adjustable bench. Let's say if it's not adjustable bench and you feel like you're sitting too low and your elbow is kind of hanging lower. So that can be fixed if you move away a little bit farther. This way, I mean, make sure not to move away this way so you barely can reach, right? So something in between that you can actually place your feet comfortably on the pedals, and then you can place your hands the way that you're not, you can reach easily white and black keys as well, okay? Make sure your elbow can pass in front of your body. Okay, so mistake number 11, almost the last one, we almost made it through the entire list. Mistake number 11 is shifting during performance like this. So if you have to play the note over to the left or over to the right, I see sometimes people do this. This looks very unprofessional. So instead of doing this, if you feel like you might be losing the balance when you lean into it, so practice just swaying like this. Remember I told you about those two bones you're supposed to feel in your gluteus maximus? So practice just shifting toward the left and right, left, and just hanging there. Also, if you feel like you're not reaching enough, it's not enough for you, you can always place your foot to the left and then lean to the left. Or place the foot a little bit to the right and lean to the right, okay? So don't shift, okay? Just take your place and just sit there. Okay, and final mistake I'm going to talk about today, number 12, is not listening to your last note. So what I see in young and the beginner performance, so they play the last note, and they, instead of just listening to that, they just play and they immediately turn to the audience like, I'm done performing. And then they get up like this. And then they bow and they go away. Again, that's almost like not finishing your sentence, not letting the meaning of your words settling down in the minds of audience. So, or like singing kind of the song like. So make sure instead of thinking, oh, I'm done. So after you played your last note, happy birthday to you, right? Remove your hands up this way, like you still, like your sound is honey, and you kind of, the key is a little bit sticky, and you moving your hands out, okay? Out and up, and then place them on your knees. And then you can turn to the audience, and then you can get up, and then you can bow, and you can hear them clapping, and then you can leave. So, of course, those 12 mistakes is just like teeny tiny portion of what can happen during the performance and what can be fixed and what can be made better. But those are most typical mistakes and most often seen in the beginning performance. So I hope that was helpful. You have a wonderful day, and I see you in the next video.